My name's Oscar Hill. I live in the 900 block of Woodland. Been a resident over here for 32 years. I'm 74 years old.
Wow, 74 years young. You look good, honestly. I think.
Well, thank you.
You look
I
real
appreciate
good.
that.
Yeah, if you would have told me 52, I would have believed you, honestly. And you said 900 block of Woodland?
Right.
Okay. So the first question I would love to ask you, Mr. Hill, is what does water mean to you?
Water is number one on my list. Can't survive without it.
Mm-hmm.
Clean water, that is. And the fact that the city went ahead and made all these changes without any input from the citizens, I thought was a big mistake.
So when so can you elaborate more on that? When the city, you said, did changes to the water, what changes are you talking about?
Main changes I'm speaking of are the water bills.
Mm.
Okay, they used to come every 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now they come every month. Sometimes they come like 3 weeks apart. I don't know if that was how they got their system up and running or what.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you had questions, you couldn't get answers. Because when you called, you were put on hold. When you went down there, the lines were so long, it just took so long to get anything accomplished.
Right.
You know.
So and when they made those changes, did you ever experience your water being shut off?
No.
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 Okay. So there's some people that might have experienced that and there's some people have, but you are definitely talking about the increase in the payment for your water bill when they said they didn't really make any changes. You don't see that they made any changes, correct?
Well, it's like, I'll give you a good example. You know, usually when you buy something, you pay once a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then when you turn around and buy something and the terms are weekly payments,
Mm-hmm.
you don't realize it at first, but it sort of takes you out of sync
Mm-hmm.
to make that weekly payment versus that one monthly payment.
Right.
And similar to that.
Wow, that makes sense because now it seems like you're paying more frequently on something for the same service.
Exactly. Exactly. And then you're paying more.
Wow. So you definitely saw an increase in your water bill.
I saw an increase, and what really amazes me is the fact that there were 7 people in my house for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm paying more now when there were just 2 than when the 7 were there.
And there's no explanation. You couldn't get in contact with anybody explain this in upcharge.
Get anything straightened out.
And how long has this been going on?
Well, our rates changed in what, January? I think it was January that it started. Now we're just beginning to more or less accept it.
Mm.
We didn't have much choice, so got to deal with it. But one of the issues that I had was that it seemed like that bill came quicker than 4 weeks apart, you know. And the other thing is, when I did have an issue, is that it was just so hard to get anything resolved.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that with the water reclamation plan for the whole city, that when they put that new system in,
Mm-hmm.
that rates would go up, but I didn't think they would go up that high.
Right. Now, and when we first started talking and having these questions, you said water is important for life.
Very important.
But you put in a little asterisk in there, clean water. So can you elaborate on what do you mean by clean water?
Let me say it like this. Our water's been polluted. They've been doing so much construction over this way, plus the pipes are old.
Mm.
There's sections over here where the water is dirty. I mean, it actually looks like the water in Flint.
Wow.
So a lot of people are buying bottled water.
So on top of you paying higher water rates than you previously were, now you have to go outside and go outside to stores and buy your own
We
water.
have to buy extra water because we don't trust the water that we're getting out of the tap.
And you can't get any contact with any officials to get some form of transparency on why these changes have happened, correct?
No, correct.
Wow. So since all this is going on, now we have coronavirus that came and has affected our lives. It's a historical moment. So since now you don't have clean water, and on top of that, having to go out and buy water, spending more and more money, now the coronavirus has affected people, unemployment. How have you been dealing with it? How's this situation on top of the coronavirus? How have you been dealing with that?
Well, the coronavirus, you've got to stay clean to avoid the virus.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, you need clean water in order to accomplish that.
Makes sense to me.
Okay? And with all the stuff that's going on right now, we're not to the point where the water coming out of the tap is clean. Virus, you need even more water because you have to wash in order to fight the virus off.
Right.
So with the issues that we have and the point that we can't get a timely answer, it's throwing everything out of whack.
So you said you had a few people staying with you and all that, and I'm assuming they moved on or moved out and everything. And from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of people that are over the age of 50 in this area that might not be able to be just as spry as you are to get, clean water. So there's some people that might be still here with dirty water in their houses.
Well, we've had some issues where in the meetings, people brought in water that they got from their tap, and it was dirty. Different issues that they had because they had so much construction going on. But like I say, we never got a timely answer to provide to the residents.
So since some of these pipes are dirty and there might be lead or anything, we don't know exactly because, we don't have the tools to test the water. We just know from what our eyes are showing that there's dirty water. Water's supposed to be clear. So what would be your message to people during this time in Junction to help, during this hard time?
I really don't have an answer.
Mm-hmm.
For those that can, they go and buy tap or buy water to fill the void.
Mm-hmm.
But we got a lot of people that are unable to do that because for one reason or another, transportation or money or otherwise. So that's where our issue is. It's so hard for us to get the city people to come to the table to explain this to the residents. We understand that with all this construction going on, there's gonna be some intrusion, okay? But they need to come and explain that to us.
Right.
Rather than you look out you hear noise one day and look out the door, there's somebody out in the alley screwing around with the sewer or the water main, and you want to know what's going on.
Right. It's a source of life. So how, with all this going on, how does that really make you feel? Because I think we don't really get to hear that from a lot of people. You guys, from what I'm seeing, they just do these things, give you short notices, and don't even consider your mental state of mind or how you feel about that. So how does this make you feel?
The fact that they're trying to improve it, I feel good about that. It's just that I think we should get some advance notice. Unless it's an emergency. But, and then for the people where the water is already cut off, but you still want them to maintain this healthiness to fight the virus, we got issues there. If your water is cut off, that's going to affect me, even though I'm paying my water bill. And we don't want that.
Right. Right. Well, Mr. Hare, I really appreciate you giving us this time and giving us your perspective, because I feel like a lot of people in the community that's been affected, no one's heard their voice. From what you're saying, the city officials made decisions and not even seem to consider your guys' well-being to make these decisions, and also raise the rate of water, the charges of water, and you get dirtier water for higher
For more money.
For more money. For some reason, to me, that they're making away like bandits.
And we understand that, you know, when they put the new system in, that they needed more money. Okay, so, and there, I imagine that within 3 months, if you haven't paid your bill now, it probably will be shut off. Compared to the old way, it took about 6 months, because the bill didn't come until 3 had elapsed, and then that time in between before they could shut it off. So, it affects us a little slower, but it still affects us all.
Well, I thank you for talking to us and taking your time out of your busy schedule to explain a story that needs to be heard, and we thank you for your time.